Hello and welcome to China Shortcuts,
the European Chamber's weekly catch-up on China's business landscape.
This episode was recorded on 8th July 2026. On 26th June, the 15th five-year plan for the construction of a new energy system was released by the National Development and Reform Commission (NDRC) and the National Energy Administration (NEA). The plan calls for strengthening energy security, advancing the green transition, boosting technological self-reliance, and improving market mechanisms.
In terms of targets, the plan states that by 2030, China's coal and oil consumption are to have peaked. Energy generated from non-fossil sources is to account for at least 25% of China's total energy consumption. Wind and solar power are to make up more than 50% of the country's total installed power generation capacity, and non-fossil sources are to account for 50% of China's total power generation by 2030.
The plan demonstrates a clear ambition to transition towards a renewable, dominant, and system-integrated energy structure, and places an emphasis on grid flexibility, storage deployment, and cross-regional coordination.
At the same time, it does not address how structural challenges facing China's energy system will be resolved, including its fragmented market design, the limited predictability of cross-provisional electricity trading, incomplete demand-side flexibility monetization, and the continued gap between China's green electricity certificate system and emerging international carbon accounting standards.
China received 327.29 billion yuan in foreign direct investment, or FDI, between January and May 2026, a year-on-year decrease of 8.6%. That is according to data published on 30th June by the Ministry of Commerce.
Over the period, 86.97 billion yuan of FDI was invested into the manufacturing sector, while the service sector attracted 234.15 billion yuan of FDI. FDI into high-tech industries continued to grow, increasing by 9.4% year-on-year to stand at 130.14 billion yuan. As a result, FDI into high-tech industries accounted for 39.8% of China's total FDI attracted during the first 5 months of the year.
FDI relating to R&D and design services, computer and office equipment manufacturing, and electronic and communication equipment manufacturing all also performed well, increasing by 96.2%, 29.7%, and 18.2% year-on-year respectively. Findings of a private survey released on 1st July found operating conditions in China's manufacturing sector improved in June 2026.
The RatingDog China Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, which is based on surveys conducted by S&P Global and sent to purchasing managers at around 650 private and state-owned companies, stood at 51.7 points in June. This marks the 7th consecutive month that the index has stayed above the 50-point threshold, which indicates an overall improvement in the manufacturing segments of China's economy compared to the previous months.
The increase in new orders was registered for the 13th consecutive month, while employment increased for the first time in 3 months, with the fastest rate of job creation registered since August 2023. The increase in the average price of inputs was recorded for the 12th consecutive month, marking the longest sequence of input price inflation registered since the first half of 2022.
The RatingDog China General Services PMI came in at 54.1 points in June, continuing the trend of expansion which began in January 2023. Total activity and new business both increased, while new export business expanded at the fastest rates so far this year. Employment in the services sector rose for a second consecutive month, marking the first back-to-back increase since 2024.
On 1st July, new rules aimed at protecting the EU steel market from global overcapacity came into effect, after having been adopted by the Council of the European Union in June.
The steel regulation sets tariff-free quotas at 18.3 million tons per year, introducing an out-of-quota duty of 50% for 26 categories of steel products imported into the EU. It also introduces a traceability requirement to improve transparency of the EU steel supply chain.
In addition, companies will need to provide information on where they melt and pour imported steel. Speaking on the regulation, Maroš Šefčovič, European Commissioner for Trade and Economic Security, Interinstitutional Relations and Transparency, said that via the regulation, the bloc is seeking to, quote, provide market participants with predictability through clear and transparent quota distribution rules, while applying a fair and objective methodology, unquote. Every 2 months, the European Chamber publishes EURObiz, the online journal dedicated to covering European business in China, and one that contains contributions submitted by Chamber members who are experts in their field. The May-June edition of EURObiz is available for free on the Chamber's website at the link provided in the show notes, and includes articles on a range of topics, including arbitration in China, de-risking, ensuring regulatory compliance when exporting pet food to China, the EU and China's respective cross-border data transfer rules and regulations, and AI-driven job displacement.
Listeners are also invited to contact the European Chamber if they're interested in contributing an article to or advertising in the magazine, which is distributed to 24,000 senior European and Chinese business executives and government officials, and to more than 1,600 European Chamber member companies.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to tune in again next week.
In the meantime, please find useful links in the episode notes.